A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum. My name is Shoaib Khan and welcome to Maxafter.com's another exciting tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be filling up a 3D letter with a Mercury, but you can use the same technique and fill up anything that you like, a 3D object, even a human being, or many letters, or a house, or any object which is 3D. You can use the same technique. So this is what we'll be doing. Okay, to see the smooth video you can also log on to my blog and watch it there. Before we starting the tutorial, please be sure to download these plugins for your version of 3D that you're using. You can download these from the RealFlow website, and then you can customize them, bring them up here by just going to customize and custom user interface, and then you can just go to tools, and in tools you can go to group and come to RealFlow, and then you can just drag them here one by one, so this is how you load them in your Macs. So you can find these plugins in RealFlow website. Okay, so let's start the tutorial. So let's go to shapes first, go to text and write our text here, and write our text. Let's say we write one letter. You're using one letter because it takes quite a bit of time to fill up a letter, in RealFlow, but you can use, the letters that you like. So let's go and change this to a thicker font, which is M. You can use any font that you like. Okay, then let's go to the modifier list and apply extrude, and let's extrude it a little bit and see. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, then what you do is you need to save this in a folder, create a folder anywhere in your hard drive, so that then when we go to particle flow, use that folder for particle flow as well, because particle flow creates many subfolders. So save this one in a new folder that you make and remember the location. Okay, so once this is done, then we go to SD export and we leave as it is, everything entire scene, and then we go and write our export file name. I've created a folder, which is RealFlow fill, and I'm going to write it mreal. You can write any name you like, and then we say export. So this is all done for us, and then let's go to RealFlow. Okay, here we are in RealFlow. So first thing what we need to do is to create a file. For that we go to File, New. So locate your folders, and in my case I've made this folder, so I'll look at this one and say OK, and write the name here, we'll name it Merc, and I'll create a new project. So now if you go to the folder, it's create a folder here with all the subfolders. So this is how particle flow works. So let's go and import our text, file, import, and we go and locate our text that we created, mreal SD. We go and choose single view. The way I'm moving this is I press Alt on my keyboard and left mouse button I rotate, middle button I move, and scroll up and down for the size. Okay, the next thing is we need to scale it down. It's too big, so we come here and we scale it to 0.1, so size is now reasonable. Now basically what we need to do is we need to create an emitter inside the M. So we go to add emitter, this button here, and we select square. I've selected square because it resembles the shape of the M. Okay, and we go to move tool and we move it and roughly match it, inside. It should be inside the M, otherwise the water will leak. And we can increase the size with the scale tool here and roughly match it. So it's more or less inside M. The walls of the M will stop the water from leaking out. So let's change the M to rigid bodies. You don't have to do it, but I do it so that it gives some other functions as well. But still, when you simulate this, you'll see that the water will be inside the M. Okay, and let's reset it. Let's select this text here and go to Node and change it to Dynamics to Rigid Bodies. and we come down here to rigid body, and we change this to primitive to mesh, so the bounding box takes the shape of the M. And keep on saving your scene as well. As you see, when you simulate it, that's how it looks. We can see the particles gushing out and they remain inside M. Let's change the perspective to shading to smooth. Basically we don't need to see the M, so what we do is we select the M and the visibility, go to display and the visibility to no, so that we only see the particles. Now let's add a mesh to the particle because we want to see the particles. So for that you need to select the particles and then go to this button here, add new mesh to the scene. So now we've got a mesh inside the scene. So when you reset it and simulate again, you'll see the mesh building up. And you can see the mesh. Change this to smooth, and now you can see the mesh here. Right, so it needs a bit of tweaking, so let's go and let's start with the first mesh itself. So go to mesh and change the build to, it is yes of course, metaballs polygon size to 0.04. The texture, leave it as it is. Filters, change it to yes, so it gives a bit of extra variation to the fluid because of the relaxation, tension and steps. You can explore these values. Display, we leave it as it is. Right, let's move on to the next. Click this plus scene here, we've got a square 01 here. So if you want to add noise to it, you can add noise, and deformation, you want to speed stretching, you say yes. So we've got all these values here. Okay, we close this and this as well. And now let's reset it and simulate it again. So as you see, it's different from the previous one because we've made few changes. So let's stop it here. Okay, the next step is let's go and select our square itself, and we go to the node first, and these are the settings of the position and squill that we have earlier adjusted, and we're not doing the initial state here. So initial state is when you want to keep your fluid filled up with M and you don't want any movement, so you just use this initial state. Okay, let's open the particles. We're using, the type is of course liquid. There are other types in here as well, but we'll be using liquid. Okay, resolution is 1. The more the resolution, the better the results, so it depends on the speed of your machine. We'll keep it, the resolution, to let's say 5. You can see they are becoming more, and density 1000, and internal pressure 0.01 and external pressure 0.01. So these are the settings that I've explained earlier in my previous tutorial with more detail. You can refer to that tutorial as well. And viscosity is, we know the viscosity of liquid is of water is from 1 to 5. So we'll use 3, and honey, oil and other are more than 5. So the surface tension leave as it is, and maximum particles, let's change this to 100,000 to get better results. Right, come down to square, close these, and in square the speed is the speed of the particles that they are gushing out and the traveling, and the vertical random, let's change this to 0.2 and 0.2 to horizontal random as well, which gives also a bit of variation, hence changes the look of the fluid. So now if we reset it and then we simulate it again, you see that the fluid is more smoother, but it's taking more time because we've increased the resolution and the maximum particles. So let's stop it here and let's move on to the next one, which is text, which we have already dealt with. So that's how simple it is. So most of the stuff is done here. You go to export central and make sure the meshes is checked, and so now reset it, and you can change the timeline from here. Let's change it to 300. So let's put it to simulate. So this will take time and it will fill up. Okay, this is quite a lengthy procedure, so we'll leave it to simulate till it goes up to 300. So when it's filled up, the whole thing right now is, as you can see, it's saving. The mesh is being saved. So I'll stop it here, and you guys carry on with the simulation, and then I'll see you guys in 3ds Max. Okay, here we are in 3ds Max. Now what we do is we'll just quickly import our mesh that we created. We got a bin, and we've got our meshes here in the folder. Where you go to the folder that way you have saved your meshes, and in that folder there has to be a folder called meshes. Go and select it, and select the first one here. This is your rendered file, and change the timeline to 300. So as you can see that, and you go to the maps, create a simple map. Go to maps and reflection. Let's go to ray tracing and apply it. Just increase it and copy this one here, and we just create a simple plane. Increase the size of the plane. Second one, apply. Create this, make this floor, and apply it. Okay, this is the second one which we applied to the floor, and change this to 35, let's say. And now when you render it, let's see how it looks. As you can see, the reflection is a bit jagged at the ends, so this is a problem with the ray trace that you can fix. Go to rendering and go to ray trace and check this global ray anti-aliaser. Check it, and then when you render, you'll see there's no more of that jaggedness there. And also I've applied in the tutorial a simple light. Move it up here somewhere, and turn on the shadows. Move this light the back as well, here somewhere. Move this one up, and this one change to 3.3 or something, and change the color. Okay, we don't need the shadow for the light at the back. This shadow we can to 0.8 or something. Okay, change the settings of the shadow parameters. Go and change this to 1024. Change this 6 or something, and when you render now, it's really soft. So you can also increase this to 0.5. So I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. Once again, my name is Shuaib Khan from Maxafter.com. Assalamu alaikum.